welcome to my video. This is going to be a quick one, kind of a restoration on a 20-foot pontoon boat. As you can see, I've removed all the railing and the top, all the furniture that went to the garbage. Took off the marine plywood, 3/4 inch, 5 sheets, and I'm going to replace it with this Ultra Deck product. It's a plastic product. 4-inch boards. I liked it because it was hollow, it's a little lighter, and you can see the fastening system, I'll show you later, is hidden. It's going to give it a great appearance. This particular boat's got galvanized cross members bolted to the tubes. This has got a 10 horsepower motor, and this is real important, folks. This is on a 10 horsepower limit lake. I'm not going fast, it's a no wake, so I'm not so worried about the strength that I'm giving up with the plywood. But if you're running a bigger motor, you might want to consider some structural supports so the tubes don't rack. But on this case, not worried one bit. So you're going to follow along my video. I'll try to be quick. I'm kind of excited about it. It's going to give this thing a new appearance. That vinyl or carpet was a train wreck. It molded. This boat sits outside, sits on the dock, sits in the water, and it's just a mess every summer. We have to high pressure wash it. The carpet weathers. It's garbage. Okay, I've done a little bit of analysis here. You're going to see weight. I got 3/4 inch plywood, marine plywood, 68 pounds a sheet, 340 pounds. I estimated 50 pounds for the vinyl and the glue, came to 390 pounds. So the Ultra Deck is a little heavier, 23.5 pounds a board. On this 20-foot by 8-foot pontoon, I'm gonna have 23 boards, 541 pounds. It's only 151 pounds heavier. This is only 151 pounds heavier. Just, reduce the number of folks you have on the pontoon boat and you're there. Cost-wise, carpet, glue, about 800 bucks to recarpet it. Now that doesn't count the marine plywood. If I have to replace that, that's going to add another $200 to this. So keep that in mind if you're comparing new plywood. The Ultra Deck cost me about 25 bucks a board, a couple bags of clips, some screws. I got about 650 bucks in this thing. So it's not only going to be, I think, a better product, it's going to be cheaper. Okay, I'm about halfway across with the boards. Learned a few things along the way, so let me tell you what I've got here. All right, this end piece, since these boards are only 4 inches wide, the plywood stuck out about 2.5 inches, way out to here. Well, I couldn't do that with any structural strength with this 4-inch board, so I sucked it in and I came out 1.25 inches. Which should be plenty for my, rails that go down the side. The railing actually sits about here. You'll see that, after I get mounting the railing. The walls and the railing, they're gonna sit in about right where this joint is. So I'm gonna drill those holes later. But this piece here, you couldn't really clip it in with the Ultra clips. So what I did is I actually bolted those stainless steel bolts. I just drilled and bolted those to the galvanized structure. What that did for me did 2 things. One, these 20-foot boards have a little warp in them. If you look, here's one. You can see that's got a little warp in it, just a natural bend probably from the manufacturer. So I wanted to start with a square one. So I was able to square that end one up real well by drilling and using those bolts. I just used some 1/4 inch by 3 inch stainless steel bolts. I put a lock nut, nylon nut underneath. So I'm not too worried about it sticking up because this is going to be outside the railing and nobody's going to be walking on this. You might be stepping on it to maybe, receive another boat or something, but shouldn't be a problem. We'll look at that later. Then the second piece that I put in, this one, I butted it up. And the reason I butted it up again is because I'm going to be drilling this, and then the sides are going to fit right down on that joint. So that's going to hold that part of the deck up. I could pull on this right now, pull this and it would pop right up. So when I'm done here, that railing is going to hold that down in place. Then you can see I use these ultra clips in between each one at every cross member, okay? This is what I learned. I started off by just using self-taps. I used these number 10, inch and 7/16. You could go a little shorter. And self-taps. Problem is when I was trying to self-tap into that galvanized, it's thick enough, the things wanted to walk, and it was a real trick. So I gave up on that, and I decided to drill it. So I'm drilling it, pre-drilling it first. Then I kind of reset these. I have a whole bunch of these made up ahead of time. So I already put the self-taps inside the little clip, and I'm able to drill the hole, make sure the board's square and tight. And I do that by using a board and a hammer. And maybe I can get my kid to video me here in a little bit of me actually doing the work so you have an idea. But I use that 2x4 and 5-pound maul, and I smack the edge of this thing until it butts up against the other ultra clip, drill the hole, and then use a self-tap to go through that hole. And you can see it's pretty straight. I've got this thing pretty true. It's gonna look pretty good. So anyway, I've got a long ways to go yet, but I wanted to kind of give you an update, and then I'll add on to this video as we get going. Hey, thanks for watching. Okay, I'm gonna go through a few of these installation of these ultra clips. As you can see, I've kind of preloaded with the number 10 self-tap. And kind of the key to make sure everything's straight and true is I kind of tap in the first one into this ultra clip. Remember, you can't get these too tight, so hopefully I don't have that one too tight. You can kind of see it sink in. Then I hold it in with my knee. I drill, and I just kind of eyeball the drill. This is close enough. Now this front member's aluminum, so you got to be a little careful I don't oversink the self-tap. And again, that's just kind of just holding it in. Then I move on to the next one. Same process. Work my way. Make sure that it's seated. I kind of get an eyeball and everything to keep it square, and so far it's been real good. Everything's been real true. Again, I line up the screw hole, or excuse me, the drill hole. And sink in my self-tap. Gotta start. Okay, I got the deck on, everything's looking pretty good. Remember, I started off about 1.25 inches hanging out instead of about 2.5 inches, so I actually narrowed the boat up a little bit, just because these boards are only 4 inches wide, and I couldn't get it cantilevered out. So anyway, I just evenly spaced it with the spacers. I got to the end, and you'll notice I had to cut one of the 4 inches down to about 2.5 to make it fit. There's no support here. I just have the clip here. Now the railing's gonna go right about there, okay? So the railing is actually gonna hold this piece in, I think, pretty well. Keep in mind I'm only out about 1.25 inches here, which the plywood stuck out about 2.5. So I'm gonna get these side pieces put on. I have one little hang up. The gap here is about inch, or about 13/16, and the thickness of the ultra deck is about 1 inch. So I gotta take about 3/16 off the thickness of that ultra deck. So I struck a line. You can see my black Sharpie line. And then I'm going to use I'm using a belt sander with a heavy grit, 36 grit sandpaper, and you're gonna see me do it. I'll just speed it up for you. But I'm gonna try to take, eyeball the best I can, about 3/16 out of the thickness, and you can see over here it worked pretty good. I've got this side one on. I've got to secure it. I haven't secured it yet, but I'll screw that on here later today. So take a look and you can watch me do this, and piece of cake. Like I said, you're going to use a belt sander here to take this off. I'm going to show you this a little bit. A couple things on the belt sander. Hopefully you got a brother-in-law. Brother-in-laws are a great resource for tools and usually help, but my brother-in-law is not helping me, but man, he fixes me up with the right tools. So keep that in mind. A couple of things, make sure you got some good tools for this whole project. These Milwaukee Fuel 18 volts really work well. I've been using it, the whole variety stuff, just handy as heck. This thing's not battery, but it's gonna work. So take a look. Keep in mind too, you guys are probably a lot handier than I am, but I pull backwards go opposite direction with the belt sander. Otherwise, it's harder to drive it forward than it is to pull it back. So you'll watch me here shortly. Okay, I got the sanding done, so pretty sure that's going to work. Another thing I want to show you on this particular boat. This is that gap that I was telling you is 13/16. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat it a little bit. Just use a crescent wrench. You guys know this trick, and I'm just going to bend this out. Try to do this myself. I'm going to bend this out a little bit. Just go down with the crescent wrench. Maybe a pair of pliers. Crescent wrench works real good. And you can see I'm just going to slowly. See how I'm bending that out just a tad. I'm going to bend it out. I'm going to work my way all the way down. That's going to widen that a little bit, just enough to help me slip it on. Give me plenty of support. Okay, I got the front on, I got the sides on. Turned out pretty good. I used a stainless steel bolt and nut here. I use stainless steel self-taps or screws to hold this side piece on. I think it turned out real good. I'm pretty excited about it. Just cleaned up the railings, and so I'm gonna go put those on next. So take a good look at this. I think it's looking really good, guys. Good progress so far. Got the old girl done. Deck's looking pretty good. Just putting it on the trailer right now. I'm gonna go get it put in. We got the furniture put on it. Bought some new furniture. New pedestal for the steering. Everything worked out really nice, I think. You can see it just, it looks good. Everything back here turned out pretty good. Remounted the battery shelf and the gas shelf. It's an old tired pontoon, but I think it's turned out really, really nice. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up and let me know how it works out for you.